everybody, my name's Liz, I'm the baker that sews. Welcome to my channel if you're new and welcome back if you are a subscriber. As always, it's really lovely to have you here as I share my sewing journey. So welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be one of my Sunday sewing catch-ups and we're on episode 100. I didn't know whether I would be able to keep this going every weekend, and obviously I've had a few little kind of breaks here and there. But I do really enjoy filming these videos. I use them kind of like a little mini, almost like diary. Keeping a log of the fabrics and the patterns that I've been buying and the things that I've been sewing and some of my plans. And I really enjoy making the notes for these videos as well. I feel like I get a lot of inspiration when I'm writing my notes for these videos too. So I really hope that you enjoy watching my Sunday sewing catch-ups as much as I enjoy filming them. So episode 100, I have got lots of things to share with you today. It has been half term, so that's meant I've had a little bit more time to do some crochet and also some sewing. So I've got quite a few things to share with you. I've got some fabric and some patterns and a few other things that I'd like to share with you. So before I dive into all of that, I'll let you know what I'm wearing. And I'm wearing a relatively new make. I shared this last weekend and it is the pattern by Faye Studio Jetson, and it's the, I thought it was called the Wow Jumper, but when I looked it up, I don't think it is called that. I think it's called the Ladies Ruffle Jumper. But anyway, I'll call it the Wow Jumper because I just love it. It's got a neckband. This is in a loop back jersey fabric from the New Craft House. It's got this gorgeous ruffle detail, drop shoulder detail. I know ruffles aren't everybody's cup of tea, but I absolutely love a ruffle. And then you've got hemband too, and then I've got cuffs, and it's kind of slightly gathered into the cuffs as well. Contrast cuffing. This came in a set from the New Craft House. They do sweatshirting kind of kits where you get the jersey and you also get the ribbing as well, and this was their Valentine's kind of sweatshirting pack. I have got on one of my new pieces of jewellery from A Up Chuck. I love this. I think it's super cute. It's a little cloud and then it's got all these little glittery kind of, I don't really know what they are, but little glittery kind of bits that hang off the cloud. I thought that that complemented my jumper really nicely. And then I've got on one of my favourite skirts. It's actually a little bit warmer today in London. So I've got on my True Bias Maeve skirt. So it's got this really lovely elasticated waistband, but then there's a drawstring, and you create that using the same fabric. And then it's a maxi length skirt, and it's got all these tiers. I don't know if you can see because the fabric's quite busy. This was a So Hilly Jane fabric, which I just fell in love with. I love how drapey this fabric is, and then it's also got pockets. And I just felt like this jumper went really nicely with that skirt. So that is what I'm wearing. So let's dive into what I've been busy sewing up this week. So last weekend I talked about lots of different plans. I wanted to make a start on the wilder gown now that the lace fabric had arrived, but actually I got distracted by other things, which is usually what happens. There's a mixture of crochet and also a mixture of sewing. So I'll start with the sewing first and then I'll share the crochet things that I've been getting kind of busy with in the background. We've had quite a lot of appointments this week, so the crochet has been brilliant for taking along to appointments. So I'm going to start with the loungewear that I wanted to get sewn up using this gorgeous sweatshirting fabric. So this was a fleece back sweatshirting fabric, and actually the fabric didn't have as much stretch as I wanted it to. So I ended up going with the LB pullover by Paper Theory Patterns, and that was perfect. It's all crumpled because it's been in my drawer, but that was perfect for this sweatshirting fabric. It's got a crease down it because I've had it folded up. So I need to iron that to get the crease out of it. But the LB pullover was perfect because the opening where you put the jumper on, the funnel neckband is quite wide, so I didn't really need a huge amount of stretch there. It's got drop shoulders, really simple straight sleeve, and then it's just simply hemmed at the bottom. Really lovely and relaxed and nice and cozy to wear, and that was exactly what I wanted from the jumper for my loungewear set. And then the trousers, I went for the Winnie joggers by Made for Mermaids, I think the pattern company is called, and lots of you suggested that pattern, so thank you. It's a really enjoyable pattern to sew up. If I manage to get photos, because I haven't managed to get photos of me wearing this set yet, if I manage to get photos before I edit this, I will put images in. But these are the trousers. Again, they're a bit crumpled because they've been in my drawers. So I went for the elasticated waistband, and then I've just got a grey drawstring. They've got these really lovely slanted pockets. And then the really nice feature of these is they've got pin tucks going down the centre of the front legs. It's going to be really tricky to show you actually, but the pin tucks were a really interesting feature. Now when I've worn these, the pin tuck doesn't go directly down, I'm quite tempted to unpick the hem and redo the pin tucks to see if I can get them to fall straighter, because it's bothering me a little bit when I wear them. You might be able to see that in the photo. I followed, when you sew up the Winnie trousers, you mark a notch at the top and you mark a notch at the bottom, and then you fold, making sure that you match up those notches. And I'm wondering whether when I matched up the notches, they matched up perfectly, but I'm wondering if I was a little bit off. You're then supposed to press it to create a crease, and then you stitch the pin tuck. And I'm wondering if I've gone a little bit off centre when I've pressed the crease, even though my notch is matched. So I might unpick it and see if I can sew that again. But I'm definitely going to sew up a few more versions of these trousers. I think the pin tuck adds a really interesting detail. I really like the fit of them as well, and I really like that wide leg feature of the trousers as well. And I just think the pin tuck elevates a really simple, straightforward trouser pattern. So I think this is going to be a firm favourite for me. It was a really enjoyable sew, and actually they're really comfortable to wear as well. And I think they go really nicely with the LB pullover. So I'm really pleased with those two. I think they go really nicely together, but I know that the jumper will be able to go with lots of other things that I've got in my wardrobe, and vice versa. I've got lots of other tops that will be able to go with the joggers too. A really cosy two makes that go really nicely together. So the other thing that I talked about was getting two waistcoats sewn up. So I had some remnants from blazers that I'd sewn up using these two gorgeous fluffy fabrics that I got from Sew Me Sunshine. This fluffy fabric I sewed up a blazer for Lola, and I had a little bit left of that. And this one I sewed up a blazer for me, and I had a little bit left. And I wasn't sure. I'd asked lots of you for your advice and what should I do, and kind of suggestions and things. What I'd originally thought I was going to do was have one side in this fabric and one side in this fabric. But then as I started talking out loud about those plans, I then thought, well, maybe I don't do that and I sew two separate fluffy two separate fluffy waistcoats, and that's exactly what I've gone for, and I'm so thrilled with them both. I used the New Craft House everyday waistcoat pattern, and with that pattern they recommend that you bind the neckline and the front of the waistcoat all the way to the bottom edge, and then you bind the armholes because it's sleeveless. I didn't want to do that with this fluffy fabric. Instead, I wanted to fully line it and enclose the edges with the lining. So instead I used the burrito method to fully line it and enclose the armholes, and also enclose that neckline as well, and then stitch up the side seams. And I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I followed a video tutorial, which I'll link down below, for the burrito method. It's one of those things that I know how to do the burrito method, but I always start off by scratching my head and feeling confused about the method. But once I did it, I was very quickly reminded watching the video tutorial and the blog, and then it just came back to me, because it's one of those things that I don't use all of the time as a method for lining. But I'm really pleased I went with that method to line it, because it gives a really neat finish on the inside, as you can see, and a really neat finish on the outside. You can't see the lining fabric on the outside at all. I'll pop the pink one on so you can see what it looks like. I'm not sure it quite goes with this jumper, but you get the idea of what it looks like. Super fluffy and cozy, which is exactly what I wanted with this little kind of like waistcoat type gilet. I decided not to have any fastenings at the front. I just want it to be open. And then the lining fabric is this gorgeous, I think it was a single gauze fabric that came in a bundle box that I got from Studio Jepson. It's a beautiful fabric, and I think it complements that fur fabric beautifully. So yeah, that's what the little kind of waistcoat gilet looks like. I have worn it already and it's nice and cozy. Lola and I were laughing because we both put the waistcoats on and then put our blazers over the top. We were laughing at how funny we looked wearing our waistcoats and blazers. So that's the first one. And then the second one is exactly the same. Obviously, it's just in a different fabric. So this beautiful fur fabric from Sew Me Sunshine. It's actually meant to be, the lines are meant to go across like that. But because I only had a tiny bit of the fabric, I've ended up cutting the front diagonally. But I actually quite like the way that that looks. And then the lining fabric was some fabric that I got from New Craft House, and I used the same fabric to line my blazer using this beautiful fur fabric as well. So that's what the inside looks like, nice and silky and soft. Again, I'll put this on. I actually wore this out to Kew Gardens in the week with my ruby dress, which I'm going to share in a minute. But yeah, that's what this one looks like. Again, really nice and cozy and lovely and soft. And that's what it looks like. Really cozy, and I think it just adds a nice detail to an outfit as well. So yeah, really thrilled with those two, and I think they're going to be really lovely little waistcoats that I can add to lots of different outfits that I've got as a little accessory, and they'll be nice and warm, a nice cozy layer as well. And then I mentioned briefly that I did get a Fibre Mood ruby dress sewn up in this gorgeous sweatshirting fabric as well. And then I've put a little label in that says I made this, that I got from Sheila when I went to the Southern Social, which very kindly gave me a few labels. Really gorgeous, snuggly, cozy, warm fabric because it's fleece lined, really cozy. Really love the sleeves on the ruby dress, ever so slightly gathered at the drop shoulder seam. The bit I love the most is the cuff. Really heavily gathered. Now I ended up having to use a contrast ribbing for the neckline and the cuffs because this fabric didn't have a huge amount of stretch. I knew that it wouldn't work for the neckband and it definitely wouldn't work for the cuffs. I wouldn't have been able to get the dress on and off. So I had a little bit of this rib knit fabric left over from the New Craft House. It's ever so slightly different shade of green to the main fabric, but actually I think it works really nicely because it's only ever so slightly lighter than the main fabric. And I think it gives a really nice feature actually, having that contrast to the neckline and to the cuffs. I really love the relaxed fit of this dress. When I first sewed it up and shared it with you, I wasn't 100% sure about this dress, but actually I really love the relaxed fit of this dress. And then it's got the side slits as well. You get instructions to create this really gorgeous finish when you're hemming it, which gives a really neat finish as well. You cut the pattern piece as a diagonal on the corners, and then you fold it together, stitch it, and then when you turn it, you get a really lovely crisp corner when you're hemming the dress, which is a really nice feature. It gives a really professional finish on your garment. So I've definitely got plans to sew up a few more of the ruby dresses actually. I'd love to find some more fleece-backed sweatshirting fabric that's perhaps got a little bit more stretch to it in some different colours. I'm really seeing the benefit of sewing up a few plain garments because I know, well, this definitely goes with this dress because I wore it out the other day. And this waistcoat would be able to go with some of my plainer dresses and things as well. So it's been really fun kind of styling some of those plainer dresses that I've been sewing up. But yes, really happy with the ruby dress in that gorgeous green sweatshirting fabric. And then the other thing that I've been sewing is a little bit different, but this is something that my husband has been asking me to sew up because his school are taking part in a Shakespeare drama thing that they do every year, and the children in year 6 are putting on Macbeth. It's always an absolutely incredible experience for the children. And as part of that, he needs some veils for some of the children to wear. So we went fabric shopping and got some lace, and then we also got some almost like chiffony fabric that's see-through, that's black, and then just some elastic. So I've been testing out sewing up some veils for the children. So this is the example that I stitched up. It's just attached to elastic, so I want it to be nice and easy for the children to pop on, and also I want it to be nice and comfortable. So he's going to take that to work this week and see if it fits the children, and if it does, I've got the task of sewing up another 4 veils for their Macbeth show. So that was a very easy thing to put together, and really nice that I could sew something up to help him with the drama show that they're putting on. And then the other thing that I've been working on, I haven't got it finished yet, but I have started it, and it was using, I'm just going to grab them, the 3 quilted fabrics from First for Fabrics that I shared with you. So there was the lilac one, there was the mint coloured one, and then there was the blue coloured one. And I'd shared a couple of ideas that I had for these quilted fabrics. I'd seen a colour blocked coat where it had different, almost the front of it was split into 4 different sections and they were colour blocked. So I was thinking about doing that with the quilted fabric. The other option was creating a coat that had stripes going across with the different colours alternating. In the end, I decided to go for stripes, and what I decided to do, I thought the easiest thing to do would be to create my own fabric. So you can see this is just a little offcut that I've got. Kind of reminds me of like, I want to say like ice cream pastel-y colours. So what I decided to do was I cut strips of the fabric. So I cut each piece of fabric into 4 strips. and I just measured the fabric. I actually had a metre of each fabric, so I cut them up into, well, it was ever so slightly more than a metre. So I think I cut them into strips of 26 centimetres wide, and then I just cut across the fabric on the fold. So I ended up with 4 strips of each fabric, so 12 strips in total. Then I stitched them together, just alternating the colours using that colour palette. And I played around with what order to do the stripes for ages. Drove my husband and Lola mad asking for the different opinions on the different orders of the fabric. But in the end, I went for lilac, blue, then green. And I just repeated that: lilac, blue, green, etc. So then I had a massive piece of fabric that was just over 3 meters long. And then I cut out the pattern pieces for the By Hand London Narissa quilted coat that I've already made up in the rainbow quilted fabric. And I had an idea to use the pastel coloured quilted fabric to create rows of alternating colours of the pastel quilted fabric. And that's exactly what I've done. And I've started putting it together. I also had a unicorn patch that I rescued from a jumper of Lola's from probably about 6-7 years ago, and it's just been in my stash waiting for the perfect project, and I have put it on the back of this coat. It's not going to be to everybody's taste, but it is something that I absolutely love, and I'm so happy with how it's starting to turn out. I had enough of the fabric so that I can sew up a mini matching coat for Lola as well, and she's thrilled. When I was laying it out and trying to cut out the pattern pieces for a coat for me, she kept hovering saying, will there be enough for you to be able to make me a coat? And I'm really pleased that there was enough fabric for me to be able to cut out a mini version of the Havea jacket. So we're going to have matching pastel quilted coats. So I'll show you what it's looking like so far, but please bear in mind that it is nowhere near finished. I've got a lot that I still need to do with it. But yeah, this is what it looks like so far. I hope the colours are going to come up on the camera properly. But yeah, you can see I've done lots of pattern matching. So you've got the green, then the blue, and then the lilac. I was able to pattern match the pockets, which I'm really pleased about as well. And it alternates green, blue, lilac, green, and then blue. And then I couldn't pattern match the sleeves, unfortunately, because I really wanted to make sure that I used as much of the fabric as possible. So I was able to pattern match a little bit using the green at the top of the sleeve. But then the way that I lay the pattern piece for the sleeve, it's then lilac, so it doesn't match, and then blue against the lilac. But I don't think that matters too much. I was just more keen to make sure that I could pattern match those pockets. And then I've been able to pattern match along the sides, and I've done the same on the other side. I've been able to pattern match. And then this is what the back looks like with the, I've already appliqued the unicorn on the back, which I think goes really nicely actually with the colours of the fabric. So I'm really pleased with how that's looking so far. I was a little bit worried because this fabric is a little bit firmer than the fabric that I used for my first Narissa coat. So I didn't want to use that fabric to sew the collar because the Narissa coat has a collar. So instead, I had some of this Sherpa fabric left. So instead, if I put the coat on, you might be able to see what my idea is with this. Oh, it's such a big coat. I know it's going to be a really lovely kind of spring colour, spring coat. Can you see that it matches? I'm so thrilled with that pattern matching. And then the collar is going to be this kind of Sherpa, like that. And it, because it's a cream colour, I think it goes quite nicely with the pastel colours. But yeah, it does pattern match. I've just got it on a bit funny. And then there's the pocket. So that's what the collar is going to be like. It's going to be this Sherpa fabric because I think that'll be a little bit softer around the neckline. I worried about using this fabric because I thought that it would stick up a little bit too much. So work in progress for that coat. I've still got quite a bit to go with it. And what I've done for the, you're meant to bind the edges of the coat. But again, I was worried about the thickness of the quilted fabric. So instead, I've created a facing to go all the way around. So it will be quite a thick facing that goes onto the inside. And I did that with my original quilted coat and it worked out really nicely and gave a really neat finish on the inside. So that's what I'm going to do with this coat as well. So hopefully next weekend I'll have it completely finished and I'll be able to share it with you. And then hopefully I'll have Lola's coat completely finished as well so I can share that with, because her coat is currently cut out ready to be sewn up. And again, I'm really hoping that I can pattern match. I've tried really carefully when I was cutting it out to make sure that the front and back pieces are pattern matched. I think I was able to pattern match her sleeves when I was cutting it out, so fingers crossed. So hopefully her coat will be lovely and pattern matched as well, but we'll see, fingers crossed. So that's all the sewing that I've been getting up to this week. Like I said, I've had more time at home because it's been half term, and we've had lots of different appointments, so we weren't going away this half term because I knew that we had to work around various appointments that we had going on. But that has meant that I've had time to do some crochet as well, because crochet is the perfect portable craft for when you're sitting in hospitals for hours and hours on end whilst you wait for blood tests and all different kind of checks and things that are going on. So I have almost finished a cardigan. It weighs a ton because it's really thick, chunky wool. I got this wool from Wool Warehouse. I can't remember what it's called, but it was described as like super chunky because the pattern called for a super chunky wool. And the pattern that I am following for this, it's almost finished. I just need to do the decreasing on the sleeve and build in a cuff, and then it's completely finished once I've weaved the ends in. The pattern is by BDD Patterns, so it's the same pattern company that I followed for the jumper that I shared last weekend. And it is, I think it's called the Dahlia cardigan. I'll just get my notebook. And the pattern is called the Dahlia cardigan. So it's described as a super chunky, relaxed fit, oversized cardigan. And it is almost finished. If I hold it up, you'll be able to see this yarn is gorgeous. It's such a beautiful yarn. Most of the cardigan is crocheted using treble stitch. And you can see that I've got a little bit of yarn there where I've just got to finish the sleeve. So that sleeve isn't finished. It does eventually come in ever so slightly, and then you've got a cuff on the end. I'll be able to show you on the other sleeve where I have finished it, but it is a huge sleeve. It's meant to be really oversized, and then I've just got ends to weave in. You've got a little bit of a cuff. You can see it starts to decrease, and then there's a little bit of a cuff. I'll put it on so you can see what it looks like, and I might have photos of me wearing it even though it's not finished. I've got lots of ends that I need to weave in. You can see just there where I finished that sleeve. But yeah, it's really oversized, really relaxed fit. You can see with that sleeve, but where you've got that cuff, it kind of brings it in, which is really nice. And then you crochet some ribbing all the way down. It's almost like a shawl type cardigan, really lovely and oversized. And then that it does match at the bottom. It doesn't look like it does. Yeah, really chunky wool, which creates this really lovely oversized cardigan, and it feels so lovely and snuggly. So I know that's going to add a really lovely cozy layer to some of my outfits. And because it's super chunky wool, this crocheted very quickly. It came together really quickly. So I just got a few little bits to finish, including finishing that sleeve and then weaving in some of the ends. But I'm really pleased with that, and I would recommend that pattern as a cardigan that comes together really quickly because you're using that really super chunky wool and you're using the same stitch. You basically crochet the back panel, crochet 2 front panels, attach them at the shoulders and attach them at the sides, and then you crochet the sleeves in the round using the same stitch until the last, I think it was the last 3 rows where you start to decrease. And then I decided the pattern doesn't call for a cuff. You just decrease and then that naturally brings it in, but I wanted to make sure that I had a cuff because I like that finish. So then I just did 3 extra rows to create the cuff in the same way that you create the cuff, not the cuff, in the same way that you create that ribbing for the front of the cardigan and the bottom of the cardigan. So pleased with how that's turning out. I then talked last weekend about the heart patterned jumper. I think it's called My Number One Jumper or something. So I have started this. I'm going for a very oversized, relaxed fit shape. I've gone for the medium. I probably could have sized down, but this is what it's starting to look like so far. So you crochet the jumper from the bottom up. So I've got quite a few rows to go, and then you start doing the shoulder shaping, and then I think you crochet the sleeves in the round as well. It doesn't call for a contrast ribbing. You can leave it as it is like that, or you can do a hem. I'm going to do a hem, and I think I'm going to do the hem in that green. I think that would look really nice as a contrast hem. And then I think with the sleeves, I'm going to do the cuff in the same green, and then I think I'll do the neckband in the same green. So most of the jumper will be in the lilac. Sorry, I've got loads of bits, that's the wool still attached. Most of the jumper will be in lilac, and then you've got these gorgeous hearts going across. And then I think it would look really lovely with the contrast band, contrast neckband, and the contrast cuffs as well. That's going to take me a really long time. I've still got a lot of work to do with that jumper. But I've really enjoyed just being able to take that with me in a bag and just having a project that I can work on as I'm moving around. And then the other crochet project that I'm almost finished with is the vest that I talked about. Don't know what I've done with the pattern. So it was this pattern here, which is the cropped crochet chunky vest pattern. So I'm almost finished with this one. Again, story of my life with crochet. I've got lots of ends to weave in. But this is what it is looking like. So most of it has been crocheted. I've done one armhole with the chunky ribbing. I need to do the neck, and then I need to do the other armhole with the chunky ribbing. But it is almost finished, and I tried it on over the top of my new Craft House everyday dress, and it went really nicely with that. If I've got a picture of me doing that, I'll put a picture in now. But I'm really pleased with how this has turned out, and that's been a really enjoyable thing to crochet as well. And I've definitely got plans to crochet a few more of these vests in different colours. I think with the next one, because this is quite cropped, I think I will add some length to the vest, because I would like some that are slightly longer as well. But I've really enjoyed crocheting that pattern up as well. So like I said at the start of the video, I have been very busy this week. I've been really enjoying doing lots and lots of sewing, and also really enjoying doing lots and lots of crochet. And hopefully next weekend I'll have a few more crochet garments to share with you completed, and also a couple of sewing garments completed as well. So on to some fabric and also some patterns that I wanted to talk to you about. So the first one is some beautiful fabric that I got from Fabric Godmother, and this is described as an Eleanor Zebra cotton jersey in petrol and pink. I think this is sold out. If it hasn't, I will link it down below for you. How beautiful is that fabric? I bought 3 meters of this beautiful fabric, so I want to turn it into a dress. I'm not sure what pattern I'm going to go for yet. I mean, one of my favourite jersey dress patterns, apart from the Nico dress pattern, is the Friday Pattern Company Westcliff dress, and this would look really lovely in that pattern. It's ever so slightly drapey. It's got really nice movement actually, and it's got really good stretch and recovery. So I could turn it into the Westcliff dress, or I was thinking I might turn it into the Sew Over Estelle dress that's got like really gorgeous tie detail at the front. This would look really nice as the Estelle dress. But I just absolutely loved that petrol colour with the black stripes and then that pink. I thought it was such a beautiful fabric. They had it in another colourway, so if they have got either of the colourways in stock, I will link it down below for you. But it feels really lovely and soft, and I'm really excited about getting that turned into a lovely dress to wear. And then recently, the new Craft House have released 2 new patterns. They've released a bra pattern and a knicker pattern. And then they've also released kits to go alongside those patterns. So I have bought both of the patterns, and I've also bought kits to go alongside the patterns too. So the first kit is the red lace cropped bra kit. I haven't actually opened it yet. What I really love about these kits is you get everything included that you need to make up the pattern. So I don't want to lose anything out of this bag. But you get the gorgeous lace, and I've gone for this beautiful red lace. It's absolutely stunning. So beautiful. So you get the lace, you get all of the different elastics that you need to go with the bra pattern. You get the fastener bit for the pattern as well. You get the mesh that you need to go with the pattern. You get all of the little sort of rings that you need, and the strap kind of adjusty things, I don't know what you call them, and then more fold over elastic, all included in that neat little pack. And I'm going to go on to talk about the pattern in a minute. And then I got the pack for the Brazilian briefs as well, and I've got the red lace pack because I wanted to do a matching set with the crop top and the brief. Get everything included in here to make the pattern up. And I just find that really helpful, having absolutely everything that you need all in one pack, so you're not having to source it from different places. So you get the lace to make up the briefs, you get the, I think you need a bit of jersey for that pattern as well, so you get a bit of jersey, and then you get the fold over elastic as well. So I'm going to pop it all back in the pack, so I've got it for when I come to sewing that up. And I'm hoping next weekend I'll get some time to start sewing those up. I sent the patterns to get copy shop printed at Fabuloso, and they've come back to me. So I've got the kits now, I've got the pattern printed, so I'm ready to go and have a go at sewing up the bra and also sewing up the briefs. So let me talk to you a little bit about the patterns. So the pattern for the bra, it's called the crop bra, and it comes in small, medium and large, with back sizes between 26 to 42. I'll link both of the patterns down below, so you can go and find out more information if you want to. It's a soft cup bralette with full coverage at the front and a convertible racer back strap detail on the back. In terms of fabric recommendations for the bra, they recommend stretch fabrics with 40% four-way stretch, like a mesh, a lace and a jersey fabric. So that's the bra. I've bought the crop top bra pattern because that's what Ruby and Lola prefer to wear. So I'm going to test it out for myself first. And then I'm going to have a go at sewing one up for both of them as well, using fabric that they like. They're both quite particular about the feel of their crop tops. So we're going to go fabric shopping and hopefully get some fabric that is nice and soft for both of them. And then I'll have a go at sewing them up for them as well. And then the knicker pattern is the Brazilian brief pattern. So it's a classic brief at the front, mid-rise waist, and then the back is designed so that you don't get a visible pant line. So it's elastic free, so you don't see the back of the knicker once you've got it on and you're wearing your garment, which I really like the idea of. It comes in sizes 6 to 34, and then in terms of fabric, they recommend mesh, stretch lace and jersey fabric as well. So I'm really looking forward to giving both of those a try, and once I've tested them out, I'll be able to let you know how I got on following their pattern instructions. But I found their pattern instructions to be really detailed, and they really hold your hand every step of the way as well. So I'm really excited about giving both of those patterns a try. So I'll update you, hopefully next weekend I'll get some time to have a go at sewing both of them, and I can let you know how long it took me and my experience sewing up the pattern. So the next thing I wanted to mention was Felicity Fabrics. I've started doing subscription boxes. There's two different subscription boxes. There's the Caroline subscription box, which is £55 a month, and you pay for it by the 20th of each month, and then the box gets sent out by the 1st of the following month. So if you paid on the 20th of February, your box would be sent by the beginning of March. And then the other box is the Felicity box, which is £35. So for both of the boxes, you would subscribe and payment is taken on the 20th of the month, and then the box gets sent out at the beginning of the following month. For the Caroline box, it's £55, and in there you get £30 to £35 worth of fabric. You get some sewing items, haberdashery, and lots of extra treats as well. I put an image in of the example that they have shared for that subscription box. And then the other subscription box, which is the Felicity, it's £35, and within that you get fabric that's worth £20, sewing items and haberdashery items, and an extra little thing as well. And I'll put an image in of what that subscription box looks like, so you can check it out. It looks really interesting, and they've got beautiful fabrics on their website, and they're fantastic at choosing fabrics too. They're always really beautiful luxury fabrics. So the next thing I wanted to share with you was a small sewing channel over on YouTube, and it's the lovely Claire, who is Loves Red Sews on Instagram and also on YouTube. So she's just released her first sewing vlog. So I'll link her channel down below. Please do go and give her a little follow, watch her first video and leave her a little comment with lots of words of encouragement. I've really enjoyed watching her first video. It is really scary when you first put yourself out there, and I know that you can feel really nervous about sharing your videos, but I thought she did a fantastic job of her first video, and I'm really looking forward to seeing lots more videos from Claire in the future. So I'll link her channel down below. Please do head over, give her a little follow and watch her latest video. So the final thing I like to finish with are my sewing plans for the next week. So I've talked about a few of them already. I would really love to get a little bit of time to have a go at sewing up the new patterns from the new craft house now that my kits have arrived. I've got the patterns and they've arrived as well. So I just want to have a go at tracing out the patterns and having a go at sewing those up. I have got my Narissa coat in that lovely pastel quilted fabric that I want to get finished, and I'd really love to get Lola's matching Havea jacket sewn up in that gorgeous pastel quilted fabric. I've also got my pogo nip jumper pullover pattern that I need to get cut out and start for the pogo nip party, and I'm going to be using this ripstop fabric, which I just think will be really fun. So I need to get a move on really getting that cut out. And then I also want to have a go at cutting out, probably won't get this started yet, but I want to use the corduroy fabric that came in the So Haley Jane box, not this month, I think it was the January box, that beautiful wine coloured corduroy fabric, well, needle cord fabric actually. It was a floral design. I'll put a picture in now of what it looks like, but I want to use this pattern, the Minetta dress, and I am going to be sewing up the dress, which is view B. I should have enough to sew up the dress with the ruffle on the bottom. I don't think I'll get a chance to get that sewn up, but I would like to get that cut out ready to go so I can get that sewn up in the next couple of weeks before the weather gets too warm. I'm really keen to be able to wear that a couple of times, so hopefully I'll get a little bit of time to get that cut out as well. And then I've got all my crochet things on the go, so I really want to get that vest finished. I'll definitely be able to get my cardigan finished. I ran out of wool, so I'm just waiting for some more wool to arrive. For this chunky cardigan, I've used 14 balls of yarn, so I've ordered 2 more so that I can definitely get it finished. And then I've got the jumper, which I know I won't get finished because I've still got loads I need to do on that, but I can do a couple more rows hopefully, and I'll share my progress next weekend. So that was everything I wanted to share with you today. I hope you've enjoyed hearing what I've been getting up to and seeing some of the things that I've been busy sewing. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd really love it if you could hit that subscribe button, because you'll get notified when I bring out my next video. Thank you as always for watching. Take care, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.